Is it another step forward to legalize medical marijuana in Kentucky, or a legislative task force with no bite? Thanks for staying with us here at 5:30. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Rachel Platt. That task force met for the first time today, a task force that is spearheaded by Kentucky's Secretary of State, but with no Republican lawmakers involved. The obvious question is, can legislation move forward like this?
WHAS 11's political editor Chris Williams asked those questions today. He has an update from Frankfort on the story he first told us about in early October.
The House, the Senate, and the governor's seat are all controlled by Republicans. There were no Republicans present when the task force met for the first time today. Some have questioned why the Secretary of State of all state office holders would tackle this topic.
Many have questioned why, as Secretary of State, is this a topic of interest? I became aware of those who are struggling, the thousands of folks who are struggling across this Commonwealth because of my work with veterans.
And while there were advocates from several sectors, it was a pair of Army veterans who drew the most attention. Brad Steiner and Eric Pollock described side effects of PTSD treatments that include opioids.
I had the shotgun in my head, and it wasn't all that long ago. My wife had the vision to say, hey, maybe you should get off the pharmaceutical psych drugs.
Another advocate shared a breakdown of how Kentucky could legalize medical marijuana in 15 area development districts that would require licenses for each aspect of business and prescribed users. He also laid out enforcement plans that would prevent any cannabis operation from being located within 1,000 feet of a school. But the lead lawmaker behind this bill is a freshman Democrat, a member of a House superminority, which begs an obvious question. There are no Republicans in here. The Republicans are in power. Is your task force toothless? Is there any power behind your task force?
Well, I think power is derived from the people. That's what government is all about. And from what I have heard across Kentucky since we just announced the formation of this task force, it's been an overwhelming positive response. So I do think that the people of Kentucky will have their voice heard, and I'm hopeful that this will be a bipartisan effort.
Did you ask for Dan Syme to show up, or any of the other Republicans who voted marijuana legislation in the past? Did you reach out to any of them in particular?
Our office reached out to the public at large, anyone who wanted to be here today. The meeting was open and publicized, and especially with your all's efforts. So we didn't restrict access to anyone. Obviously, this was a very quick first meeting, so there's a lot of schedules today that unfortunately couldn't be here.
Republicans or no Republicans, Secretary Grimes has scheduled the next task force meeting for December 19th with the hope of getting a bill before the General Assembly when they reconvene in January. At the Capitol, Chris Williams, WHAS 11 News.